Corporal Hatcher stood exactly 1 meter from the bulkhead, hands folded behind his back, eyes fixed on the same scratch in the decontamination panel he'd been studying for 3 days straight. The scratch resembled a bent fishhook, or maybe a broken number 3. He had given it a name. "Don't look!" Behind him, boots stomped. Clanking. Metal hitting floor. A hiss. A growl. Then her voice. "Eyes front, human!" He didn't move. Not even to blink. The last time he blinked during Deccan, he'd been slapped with a misconduct citation by a 6-armed HR bot. It took 3 weeks to clear his record and longer to stop twitching every time someone unclipped a chest plate. Commander Tiarsol exhaled sharply through her nostrils. The heat in her voice wasn't from the sterilization fog. "This is a shared chamber. You will not compromise discipline because your inferior flesh is shy." "Understood, ma'am," Hatcher said calmly, counting rivets on the ceiling now. 47. 48. Focus. Behind him, metal slid. A soft clatter. He tried not to hear it. The echo of armor plates landing on the bench sounded like judgment. His ears were traitors. "You call this fear?" she snarled. "This is weakness disguised as custom." "No, ma'am. This is protocol," he replied. "And also trauma." Tiarsol's talons clicked across the floor. "You withstood nerve saws on Praxis 5. You ate fried fuel worm with a smile on Venus Station. But a female of rank undresses behind you, and you go stiff as a stasis rod?" He paused. "Ma'am, that sentence is technically accurate but very misleading." She circled. He could feel the heat of her presence near his left shoulder blade. Too close. The air pulsed. His eyes stayed locked forward like they were held by invisible clamps. He didn't dare breathe deep. "You humans soft. Brittle. Always flinching from command. On my world, we disrobe to reveal our scars. Discipline is bearing the weight of attention. Ma'am, on my world, HR reviews body language with heat maps." Tiarsol leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "Do you know what your refusal to turn implies in my culture?" "Yes." "That I wish to remain employed." "No. It implies dominance. Coldness. Strategic control." She paused. "It implies you are unmating me through restraint." His throat made a dry clicking sound. "That was not my intention. Intention is irrelevant. You are performing a mating denial ritual." "Ma'am, I'm performing a please don't get sued again ritual." She grunted. "I remove my plating before you every cycle. I expose flank, crest, all vital marks. I growl commands. You do nothing. I follow orders. You taunt me. I'm following them really hard." Her breathing grew heavier. "Then I escalate. I would rather you didn't." A thunk sounded behind him. Something larger had hit the floor. Hatchers tried not to calculate the surface area of exposed skin involved. His spine locked straighter. "Ma'am," he began, "if I may respectfully submit a clarification." "You may not." "Copy that." She growled low. A sound like distant thunder rolling through teeth. "You're shaking." "Yes, ma'am." "Reflexive panic." "It's very procedural." "You are resisting instinct." "Correct." "By doctrine." "Such control." "Are all human males this cold-blooded?" "No, ma'am. Most of us are just traumatized." She stepped closer again. Her voice softened. "Then why not look? Just once. No punishment. No battle. A test of focus. Because last time I failed a test of focus, I got reassigned to pest waste filtration for a month. You are denying me reaction. I am preserving mutual dignity, ma'am." Silence. Then a low, dangerous chuckle. "You're serious?" "I was trained on Venus Station, ma'am. We were briefed on 12 kinds of visual misconduct and 15 on eye lingering. I have a chart." She moved away. He heard the rustle of cloth, different from armor. He was too afraid to picture anything. If he imagined it, that might be breach of contract. Somewhere, A policy AI would ping him. You humans call this torture? She said finally. No, ma'am. We call this HR compliance. Silence again. Not tension, exactly. Something new. Confusion? Amusement? You're a rare breed, Hatchers. Uncomfortably so, ma'am. She exhaled. A long breath. Dismissed. He waited 3 seconds. You're clothed, ma'am? Obviously. He turned. She was armored again, if slightly flushed beneath the edges of her neck crest. Her eyes glinted with something unreadable. Tomorrow, she said coolly. We begin earlier. I'll speak slower. Give you more time to demonstrate. Focus. He saluted like a statue. Eyes front, ma'am. She narrowed her eyes. That's my line, human. He left before she could see the twitch at the corner of his mouth. Day 6. The scratch on the bulkhead had developed character. Hatchers now called it Sir Not Worth Dying Over. He'd considered filing paperwork to make it official, but he'd lost 2 styluses and 1 nervous breakdown trying to log his last form without using the phrase alien stripping-induced paralysis. The door hissed open behind him. Heavy steps. No armor clang. She'd come in light. Again. You're early. Tiarsal growled, voice taut. I calibrated my terror ahead of schedule, ma'am. Silence. I admire efficiency, she said, sharper now. But you've refused reaction for 6 days. My species considers that a prolonged rejection. I've been told I'm emotionally unavailable. She moved closer. He could hear the quiet rustle of fabric, not plates. A shift in strategy. Perhaps you are simply not calibrated to perceive strength. I perceive too much, ma'am. I just choose not to die from it. Her voice lowered. Each day I disrobe, each day you stare forward, makes you more dominant in my crew's eyes. I'm terrified. They think you're seducing me through apathy. Still terrified. I stripped down to nothing yesterday and you hummed the planetary anthem. It's soothing. She circled behind him, slow. Deliberate. You've declared war by silence, Corporal Hatchers. I just want to be transferred to a unit that wears robes, ma'am. Do you understand what happens when you provoke an alpha-bonded war-born? Last time I provoked a cook on Saturn base, I spent 3 weeks learning how to clean gelatin through a vacuum grate. She paused. I'm not joking. Neither am I. Tiarsal halted. The air felt thick. Look at me. I've filed 3 forms against that directive. She reached around and slid something cold into his hand. His eyes stayed forward. What's this? Disciplinary Order 17X. You are now required to complete visual inspection of a superior officer's bonding marks. His breath hitched. Is this a trap? Yes. I appreciate the honesty. She stepped back. The marks on my lower flank. Just above the crest bone. Not looking, ma'am. Then I'll describe it. Also not allowed, per Auditory Regulation 19B. She growled. You think you're clever. I think I'm surviving. Fine. Then I escalate again. A sound followed. Something hit the bench. Fabric, not metal. Hatchers immediately began reciting the intergalactic code of neutral gaze. She laughed darkly. Recitation doesn't save you from cultural obligations. It's all I have. Her tone softened unexpectedly. Do you really not find me noteworthy? I find you absolutely capable of tearing out my spine with a stern look. That's not what I asked? He hesitated. His voice lowered. You are objectively impressive. In every way. Terrifyingly so. Then why won't you look? Because I've had nightmares about space lawyers. She moved close again. He could smell something faintly floral beneath the sterilization mist. You're denying me intentionally now. I'm denying everyone, ma'am. It's a lifestyle. Her talons gently tapped his shoulder. Your restraint is infuriating. It's trained. And possibly genetic. My ancestors ran from everything. She stepped away again, voice lower now. In my culture, if someone shows strength through non-engagement, they're considered a suitable mate. That seems counterintuitive. Exactly. He didn't respond. You've endured my proximity. My commands. My rituals. I've endured worse. What could be worse? Group therapy. She barked a laugh. Fine. Then let's test your limits. He swallowed. Permission to panic internally? Granted. He heard cloth drop again. Footsteps. Then nothing. She was standing behind him, fully exposed. Still not turning human? My ancestors are watching. You've broken a half-dozen laws in your silence. And yet here I stand. You are the most frustrating creature I've ever tried to intimidate. I get that a lot. Silence again. Then she whispered, What do you want, Hatchers? He didn't expect the question. He considered it honestly. Peace. A meal that doesn't scream. A shower where I'm not guessing what temperature will boil my skin. And maybe a shift where no one tries to court me with growls. She didn't respond. Then, finally, a softer voice. Noted. She turned. He heard her armor being reassembled. I'll be wearing regulation gear tomorrow. Appreciated. But I expect eye contact next cycle. That'll require a psychological waiver. You'll file it. I already have a draft. She paused at the door. One last question, Corporal. Yes, ma'am? When I glare, do you really not flinch because of training? No, ma'am. Then why? Because it's the only part of this I've gotten used to. She didn't laugh. But the door slid shut behind her a second too late. Day 6 complete. Sir Not Worth Dying Over had a new scratch beside him. He named it Progress. Day 9. The air in the decontamination chamber hung too quiet. Hatcher stood in uniform silence, as usual, hands behind his back, not daring to twitch. But this time, something felt off. No footsteps. No armor. No barked command. He cleared his throat. Ma'am? Nothing. He risked a whisper. T.R. Saul? Then came her voice, quiet, unfamiliar. You may stand easy. He didn't move. This is new. It's not a trap, she said. You have proven your control. I've proven I'm scared to blink. No, she replied slowly. You've proven consistency. You have not ogled. Not flinched. Not drooled. Not even sighed. I've developed the ability to sweat internally. I reviewed your record. He tensed. Everything's in order. Mostly. Except the helium incident. That wasn't my. Your personnel reports label you intentionally neutral. Chronic boundary respecting. And a prude. I prefer the term legally inert. She exhaled, not her usual snort. It sounded tired. I came today without my crest binding. That's a vulnerability for my kind. Sounds serious. It is. But I wore regulation pants. So don't panic. I appreciate the clarity. Another long silence. She continued, voice slower than usual. My people think restraint is just another form of control. But I think you're not controlling anything. Not really, ma'am. You're just scared. To be fair, I'm scared strategically. You know / no one has looked at me without fear or challenge in years. That's probably because you have shoulder blades that could slice concrete. She almost chuckled. I'm not offended. I compliment tactically, too. I've fought in 12 wars, human. Commanded 5 species. I've ruptured hulls with my bare hands. But I've never been ignored so thoroughly. He blinked once. I didn't ignore. I survived. You stared at a wall while I stripped to the scars. I filed a witness protection request, preemptively. Another pause. Then she said, I want you to look at me now. Ma'am, I was told this was no trap day. It's not a trap. Then it's a test. She sighed. You're exhausting. It's part of my survival strategy. She stepped forward. Her presence registered before her shadow reached him. He felt the heat. Not aggression, something else. I don't know what I want from you, Hatchers, she admitted. You're infuriating. Restraint as rebellion. Respect as warfare. I want to punch you and also not punch you. I confuse myself sometimes too, ma'am. No performance. No armor. Just look. Once. Not as a soldier. As yourself? He hesitated. I need a moment. Take it. He waited 10 full seconds. Then slowly, cautiously, turned his head. She stood fully clothed. Standard gear. No traps. No bear marks. No exposed culture. Just her. Standing still. Not glaring. Watching him with uncertainty. He blinked twice. Ma'am? Eyes front doesn't always mean don't see. Is this a philosophical ambush? She looked away, a rare flicker of hesitation. I don't know what I'm doing. That makes two of us. He stepped forward 1 inch. Enough to show he wasn't frozen anymore. She noticed. I thought I had to intimidate you to get you to notice me, she said quietly. I noticed. Every second. I just didn't want to die for noticing. Is that all I am to you? No. You're the first person in this system who hasn't tried to file me into a trash bin. High praise. Ma'am, I once got courted by a chlorophyll-based hive who wanted to cocoon me. You talking to me without snarling is basically intimacy. She folded her arms. I don't snarl all the time. You did bite that one diplomat. He made a noise. He smiled. So do I. She looked at him fully now. You're not what I expected. Everyone says that. Usually while bleeding or filling out incident forms. I thought you were mocking me. With silence. I was terrified. With discipline. You confused respect for surrender. And you confused modesty for manipulation. They stared. Tiarsol's voice dropped again. Would you sit with me? Just sit. No decking. No orders. No stripping. No HR violations? None. I swear. He nodded once. Permission to break routine? Granted. They sat. Side by side. Quiet. He glanced at her. Ma'am? Yes? Your crest bindings are crooked. She smirked. Good. I did it on purpose. I knew it was a test. She didn't glare this time. She smiled. Day 11. Hatcher stood in the same spot. No salute, no tension. He wasn't counting rivets anymore. He was waiting. The door opened with its usual hiss, but Tiarsal didn't storm in. She walked. Measured. Calm. A shift had taken place, and both of them knew it. Corporal, she said. Commander. No bark, no growl. Just words. You're early again. I budgeted time for emotional confusion. She raised a brow. Efficient. Habit. They faced each other now. No bulkhead between. No scratch for refuge. Just two soldiers without armor. I filed a new report, Hatcher said. Titled A Request for Mutual Non-Combat Observation in Shared Zones. Approved, she said. I even added a waiver for nonverbal misunderstandings and unclear cultural gestures. Smart. Legally boring. Still smart. Silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. I read your personnel review, Tiarsal offered. Your first deployment logged a 0% glance rate in cohabitation quarters. Record setting. They called you the Eye Virgin. I tried to embrace it as a brand. She stepped forward, just once. I also read your tribunal transcript. The one where you accidentally walked in on an ambassador's molting ceremony. I still see goo when I close my eyes. I would have thrown you out the airlock. They tried. I clung. She almost laughed. You never looked after that, did you? I learned to make eye contact with corners. I noticed. They stood still. I've decided something, she said at last. You're not disrespectful. You're just complicated. Coming from a species that bonds through intimidation, I'll take that as a compliment. You should. He hesitated. May I speak freely? Always. I wasn't avoiding you to insult you. I wasn't resisting to challenge you. I was just trying to survive without wrecking what little self-worth I'd salvaged. She nodded. And I wasn't undressing to taunt you. I was trying to understand why you didn't react the way others did. I react? Just inside. I think that's why I stopped being angry. He shifted his weight. So, what are we? Apparently, a mutual filing delay. Sounds intimate. She tilted her head. I don't know what comes next. I don't either. Want to make it up as we go? Is there paperwork? Probably. He sighed. Then sure. She unhooked a small badge from her belt. Held it out. Non-engagement token. In my culture, it means I'll stop trying to dominate you, if you stop pretending you're not affected. He accepted it. Weirdly comforting. We're a weird species. I've noticed. She smirked. Inspection? He froze. Mandatory or voluntary? Voluntary. Then yes. I think I'm ready. She stepped back. Held out her arms. Fully clothed. No tricks. Just a stance. He looked. Not just glanced. Asterisk look star. Straight on. Eyes met. No alarms. No HR bots crashing through the ceiling. No lawsuits materialized. He let out a breath. You're intense, he said. You're braver than I thought. Emotionally? No. You finally made eye contact. That's a first. They stood quiet again. I never thought I'd say this, she muttered, but I'm glad you didn't look at me before. Because I wouldn't have understood. Because you wouldn't have meant it. He nodded. I mean it now. I know. She walked to the door. Hesitated. Same time tomorrow? Only if there's less paperwork. No promises. Door slid open. She turned once more. One last thing. Yes? Eyes front, or eyes on me. Either way, next time, pick one. He grinned. Guess I'll just have to file it under developing situation. Door closed. Day 11 ended. No more wall watching. No more silent counting. Now, just forward. Whatever that meant.